My name is Matt, but you can call me Absol. I've been making Pokemon videos for almost 10 years now, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. Something that I like to do at the start of a new generation is to make a movie about my first playthrough of the new game. And this is my movie for Pokemon Sword. For this playthrough, I'm not taking on any sort of crazy gameplay challenge or anything like that. My main goal is to casually enjoy the game and uncover all of the secrets and new Pokemon of the Galar region that I tried my best not to spoil for myself beforehand. In other words, the focus of this movie is not necessarily on the gameplay, but on the experience. So with that, I present to you my experience playing through the first game of the 8th generation of Pokemon. I hope you enjoy. It's like 6 p.m. right now, and I've got a setup going right here for Sword and Shield. Might not be the best setup, but it's certainly a setup. Got both of the games hooked up to a capture card in case I decide to hunt something later tonight. I'm using the Let's Go Switch dock for the very first time. Got my controllers all charged up and ready to go. Got my shirt with a Pokemon that may or may not be in the game. I've got a couple friends. I don't really have anything resembling a sword or shield here, but I do have an axe. But yeah, tonight's the night for Sword and Shield. I'm about to go over to the Smash Weekly now, and then I'm gonna head on over to GameStop for some pre-release shenanigans. I went to the Smash Weekly, but I didn't enter, because I had some shiny hunting to do. I've got some exciting news. After 3 encounters, if you look on this middle screen, it's a shiny football game. Look at that. But actually, at the weekly and the releases, I took the opportunity to ask people the burning question that I was still not 100% sure of my own answer to. And this question's pretty important for this Sword playthrough. What starter Pokemon are you picking?
Scorbunny.
Sobble.
Grookey.
Sobble Squad.
I'm gonna pick Sobble because he probably tastes good fried.
I'm gonna pick Scorbunny because my 2 best friends are picking Sobble and Grookey, and I kind of want to complete the trio, and he looks the cutest out of the 3.
I'm picking Grookey. I always get water types, but Grookey just seems like it's just really cute, you know? It's like a grass monkey. That's kind of it, really. Not much to it.
I'm starting with Sobble because I love lizard Pokemon, and the next chameleon in line past Kecleon, Sobble. Let's do it.
With a little bit more insight into what people were picking, I waited out the rest of the night playing Smash with some friends on the floor. It's like 10:15 right now, about 45 minutes till the game drops. I just went to one GameStop to hang out with some of my friends there. It was really fun. But I pre-ordered the games at a different GameStop, so I'm about to go over to that different GameStop to pick them up now. But it was really cool over here. I met some people who like recognized me from the channel, which is always surreal. It's really cool. Time to go to another GameStop. If you can tell through the leaves, I've arrived at GameStop number 2. My final stop before I play the game. Alright, I'm home. I've got the goods. I cannot wait to start this game. Let's get into it. With both games ready, and the next day completely off work, I was ready to pull a Galarian all-nighter. To keep myself awake during this all-nighter, I've got a Mountain Dew Sword version. My gosh, I cannot believe I'm playing new Pokemon game right now. I'm probably gonna play through on both games until I find a shiny that I want to hunt. And then, what's that? Dude! That was that thing that was shown for like 1 frame in a trailer. But anyway, once I find what I want to hunt, I'm going to hunt that on both games, and then I'm going to just focus on playing my main game, Sword. Is this real life? Just like I did for Sun and Moon, the first night of my journey was spent in a call with the boys. Oh dang, your mother looks like you depending on like what race and color you chose at the beginning of the game. Different looking mom on both games. Check out the dudes. Oh gosh, what happened to Joe? You got data moshed. I think I've finally decided on Sword, I will be choosing Scorbunny. And on Shield, I will be choosing Grookey. Almost immediately, the game took me to the Slumbering Weald and did something that a Pokemon game had really not done before. Introduced the cover legendary very early on. And there was also a really cool unwinnable battle versus the cover legendary super early too, which I thought was a really neat way to introduce them to the whole storyline of the game. I went from seeing the legendary dogs to a pretty ordinary dog, and I immediately knew that I needed this dog on my team. Yo, you see this thing? This is a team member. Team member till the end. I was also surprised by a couple mechanics you had access to this early in the game. Wait, I can fish right now? It's a magical carp. The professor's got a smart fridge. It is wild area time. It is wild area time. This is wild. Oh, no way! I see myself on the other switch running around the wild area. Or at least I think it might be me. It's close to real time. Yeah, it's me. And I got a bag of pasta! Let's go! Yeah, I got a bag of pasta for myself on both games. Alright, I'm gonna try and see if I can do a Dynamax raid with myself. Look at this dynamic max. My first raid was a Roggenrola, and it was pretty easy to take down. I knew from the start that these raids were going to be pretty addicting, and I spent a pretty good chunk of my first night just in the wild area. Now my question is this raid Pokemon identical on both of my games? That's what I'm going to check right now. Let's see if it's the same nature and stuff. Let's see, it's male, level 15 with 1 HP. Same nature, calm, alert to sounds. It's the same Pokemon! You can catch an actual RNG clone, but with a different ID. I'm so excited about exploring this place that I forgot what I'm supposed to be doing. There's a Vileplume! It is in the game! Alright, my number is gonna be Absol's number, 359. I was really shocked to see that they introduced all of the gym leaders except for one this early on in a cutscene. But it was really cool getting introduced to all of them, and it made it a lot easier for me to not get spoiled on who they were, since they were already just revealed right there. Why not playing hopscotch is like... it's the most important thing I've seen all night. That thing looks like Naruto. With each palm rested on one controller, on my couch I felt an immense amount of power playing through the game. I felt like I was making really good progress, until I hit a shocking revelation. It's almost 4 AM, not very long until I've been awake for 24 whole hours. I was starting to feel kind of sleepy, so I got up to stretch my legs for a second. And I think the most shocking revelation for right now is that I have been playing for like 4 hours now at least, and I still don't have my first gym done yet. Wow. There's been a lot of games so far, and there seems to be quite a bit more. It's 4 AM, and we just hit our first gym challenge, or gym battle. I just did the gym challenge. It's 4 AM. Oh, it goes right into the music on the introduction. This first gym battle versus Milo was a very easy gym battle. With Raboot and the type advantage, all I had to do was just toss fire moves at his Pokemon and sweep him. But man, this was the coolest experience I've ever had sweeping a gym leader, with all the special animations and cut-ins and the Dynamax phenomenon. And also, the music itself was really awesome, how it dynamically changes with whatever's going on in the battle, like when the crowd starts chanting when the gym leader Dynamaxes. I had listened to the gym leader theme earlier in the day, and thought it was weird how it transitioned from part to part, but in the context of the game, it all made so much sense throughout the battle. So yeah, this was a super easy gym, but it was super cool at the same time. Early in the morning, I had obtained my first gym badge in Galar. And what was I going to do right after it? I unfortunately didn't progress any further in the story. Instead, I went back to the wild area and had a lot of fun doing raids with my friends. Just doing some online Dynamax raids with my friend Website. It is 5 a.m. Didn't quite pull off the all-nighter I was planning on doing, but came pretty close. I kind of started to fall asleep with the controller in my hand, and I knew it was time for me to kind of stop for the night. So later today when I wake up, I'm going to get back at this. November 15th, technically day 1. I woke up around 11 a.m. and I decided to start off my morning with a nice little walk. Even though I was outside and away from the game, and I didn't even bring my Switch with me, there was still one thing on my mind the whole time. The wild area. I cannot stop thinking about the wild area. There's just so many biomes, there's all the different weather patterns and stuff. I can see myself losing like tons of hours in this place. At first, when I heard about the really strong Pokemon that appear there that you can't catch until you reach a certain point in the game, I thought it would be a really kind of dumb idea, but hearing that they're shiny locked is really nice, and I like how it gives the Pokédoll item its first practical use in a Pokemon game ever. So there's that. Raids, man. Can't stop thinking about those raids. Raiding ended up eating away at a ton of my time the first night, and I hardly even noticed until afterwards. It's a ton of fun, but I knew I needed to take a little break from it if I wanted to actually progress in the story at all. So I walked home keeping in mind that I might need to steer clear from the wild area for a little bit if I want to make any progress. I actually think I went to bed at this time during the Sun and Moon release. Definitely didn't make it that far this time. I'm home. It's time to swap out these sunglasses for some gamer glasses. Let's game, gamers. Chin Chow! Sick! Oh, the thing might have Illuminate. That might be handy. I'm curious to see how Illuminate works in this game. Alright, I'm gonna try and get a comparison of Illuminate versus not Illuminate. I wonder if it increases the chances of the exclamation mark encounters, or if it increases the number of Pokemon on the overworld overall. Alright, so we've got 4 on the overworld in both games. That was like an almost instant. That was also almost instant. Man, I'm really curious to see how much of an effect this really has. I didn't know in that moment that I was about to meet the next member of my team. Whoa, Applin? What's that apple thing doing here? I've never seen that before. Happy juice. And now we're taking on the second gym leader, Nessa. This gym battle was also pretty easy for the most part, but I feel like I could have made it harder by changing it to set mode instead of shift, and by maybe not Dynamaxing my Pokemon, but I'm not worried about doing any sort of challenge on this run at all whatsoever. I just want to see my Pokemon get big. So even if the battle was super easy, I love seeing the giant dog on my screen. Also, I knew that Dreadnought had a Gigantamax, so I was really surprised to see it just do a regular Dynamax in this battle too. I didn't realize there was a distinction between the two at this point. It was also crazy seeing my dog explode. Oh my gosh, rest in peace! Exploded! Oh my gosh, my poor dog! Without any hesitation, I immediately went into the third gym, which is probably one of the coolest gym concepts I've ever seen in a Pokemon game. Instead of fighting against the gym trainers or there being some sort of puzzle, the gym trainers and you both encounter these wild Pokemon, and they try to do everything to take down the wild Pokemon to prevent you from capturing it. I figure you could make this really easy with a couple quick balls, but I had a little fun with it. This is great. Just attack their Pokemon. This is the most creative gym I've ever seen. I just like to deny this man of the opportunity to even hit this Vulpix. Another really cool thing about this gym that I learned later on is that the wild Pokemon here can be shiny, and you can just run away from them to encounter them as much as you want. On a future playthrough, I almost definitely plan on doing a hunt here, just for the novelty of finding a shiny in a gym. This one feels different than the others so far. This battle feels like it has a little bit more weight to it, I guess. And I was right. This gym battle was very different from the previous two. Even with 2 water types in my party, I felt pretty unprepared for this one. Kabu has a team of fully evolved fire Pokemon, and none of them wanted to go down in one hit. On my shield playthrough that was still going at the same time because I hadn't figured out what I wanted to shiny hunt yet, this battle took me multiple attempts, but I still clutched it out first try on Sword. Kabu is also the first gym leader to use Gigantamax, which is just like Dynamaxing, but alters its appearance and gives it a special move. His Gigantamax Centiskorch was a formidable foe. At the time, I didn't realize that Centiskorch had the ability Flash Fire, so I almost dug my own grave by using Max Flare on it. That person was just walking on air back there, by the way. Then, on my way to the next town in the wild area, I stumbled upon a Q-Fan, which I captured and would later become a member of my final team. And I also got all styled up on both games. And then, in the Hammerlock archives, I saw the legend of the creation of the Kingdom of Galar, told through these tapestries, which are very much inspired by real-life medieval tapestries, which I found to be really cool. It was a really nice artistic touch, and I was really inspired by it myself to draw little tapestries for each member of my team that you might have seen in the intro of this movie. And speaking of my team, at this point I was still playing through both games at once, because I had still not found what Pokemon I wanted to hunt to be the shiny for my team. In the past few years, it's become a tradition for me to play through every new Pokemon game with at least one shiny Pokemon on my team. And Sword and Shield were no exception. By the time that I had 3 badges and had hit Route 6, I had finally found my target for what I would go for. Yo! Galarian Yamask? Galarian Yamask. Alright, the instant that I saw Galarian Yamask, I knew it was something that I need to hunt. So my first shiny hunt of Sword and Shield will be for this thing. And I'm gonna go all out starting right now trying to hunt this thing down. But I'm just gonna be doing the standard random encounter and run strategy that I've always done, the tried and true. I'm gonna keep track of encounters and let's see if we can find this thing. I'm also gonna do everything in my power to not look up what this thing's shiny looks like, so I can be totally surprised by it. That's gonna be crazy if I can pull that off, but I don't know if I have the willpower for that. And when I said I was going all out for this hunt, I wasn't kidding. Playing through Shield up to this point was just to increase my efficiency on doing this hunt in the first place, so I could double hunt it. And I was prepared to go for days or even weeks looking for this thing, even if it meant finishing the story a little bit later than everyone else. I spent the remainder of the day hunting this thing, and I ended up catching a Nickit on both games with the runaway ability, so I could run away from the pesky Doug trio with Arena Trap in case I accidentally ran into those, which happened a lot. I had a 1 in 4096 chance of encountering this thing, and I thankfully got it long before I hit that number of encounters. In fact, I got it the very same night that I started hunting it, at like 3 AM. Oh my gosh! Shiny Yamask! Shiny Galarian Yamask! Oh my gosh, dude. I was about to go to bed like a few minutes ago. It is 3 freaking AM right now. This came after 2,125 random encounters on my Pokemon Shield. That is my first shiny of 8th gen. That is the shiny that I will be using on my team. Alright, so I have made it through 21 hours of playing both of these games at the exact same time. See, check it out, 21 hours. And that is about to come to a nice close tomorrow morning, or I guess this morning when I wake up again and I trade this Yamask over from Shield to Sword. And then I can continue the rest of the playthrough on just one game. It's gonna feel really nice to just like hold a controller in both hands instead of whatever keyboard grip thing I was doing up until now. It's gonna be a really nice change of pace. And hey, I might even be able to take the game out in handheld mode. I ended up staying up an additional 3 hours editing and posting the Yamask video until 6 AM when there was frost outside, which hardly ever happens here. Now I'm gonna do the shameful go to bed in daylight and wake up in the afternoon and then play some. I sleep. Alright, so it's now 1 o'clock on the 16th. Earlier this morning when I went to bed there was frost outside, and now I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. If you asked me if I'd be out here a few days ago, I would have completely laughed at the idea since there's a new Pokemon game waiting. But being out here gives me the perfect excuse to not 100% have no life this weekend. So, let's find some shiny Chimchar. To the Chimchar population, I apologize for making fun of your special day. Alright, so for the 1 hour I played, I managed to get one of each of the Chimchar line shiny. And I defeated a Go Rocket leader. I'd consider all that adequate. So after community day, I decided I needed to go eat something. So I went to Five Guys. Because if this game follows the typical 8-gym structure, we have 3 badges right now and need 5 more badges, meaning we would need to defeat 5 guys. But in a figurative sense, since the rest of the gym leaders aren't necessarily all dudes. But yeah, while I'm sitting here and about to play, I guess I'm going to give some predictions on what I think about the characters and the story right now, just to see how horrendously off base I might be or how close I am to how it actually all works out in the end. I've had a hard time reading how exactly this game is going to go story-wise, actually. I haven't seen too much looming evil throughout the game at all, aside from maybe Oleana and the chairman. They seem very fishy to me. I mean, we meet them at a seafood restaurant, that screams fishy in the first place. And I feel like they're using Bede as a pawn, and Bede thinks he's the best trainer to ever touch a Pokeball, even though he only just uses one type. But he's probably not necessarily as bad of a guy as the actual chairman is. But we'll have to see how that works out. While I think the chairman is evil, I don't think necessarily the entire Pokemon League is evil, because I don't see any way that people like Milo or Nessa could actually be evil in some sense. Team Yell seems pretty benign. They just seem like a bunch of mad lads. It doesn't really seem like a truly evil team. Probably the least evil team we've ever gotten in a Pokemon game, to be honest. Leon is a really cool champion, but I think introducing him as the champion from the beginning means that we're going to be fighting a different person or thing as the final battle instead of Leon, because most Pokemon games don't flat outright tell you the champion at the very beginning like that. We'll have to see how that plays out. And Hop is a good rival. He's just a genuinely cool dude. I have no idea how the legendaries are going to tie into this at all, but I imagine it'll have something to do with the Dynamax phenomenon, since that's kind of been what the story has been following throughout most of the game so far. But I can't wait to get back into this thing, so I'm going to stop yapping and just start playing. So let's game, gamers.
I also got a very cool package in the mail today. I might take a brief intermission for this at some point.
Also, I'm realizing that these are the first Pokemon games in 14 years that can be controlled with a GameCube controller. So the first time since 3rd gen. I'm gonna play with a GameCube controller today. So far, the only control that I can think of that's not possible on this controller compared to a regular Pro controller or the Joy-Cons is whistling, which happens by clicking the stick. And it's okay if I can't whistle, because I can't whistle in real life either. I also just learned that this is an evolution item, and I got it a while back, and maybe it'll make this thing useful. So I can't wait to see what Applin evolves into. I have no idea. Oh, I like the molecules in the background. That's so cool looking. Oh, that's crazy! Flapple! Didn't expect that at all. Oh yeah, there's a mystery gift I can get. Meowth and I have a lot in common. My journey today started in the town of Still On Side, which is a lovely little place full of underappreciated Pokemon. My first goal was to take on the gym leader, B. Is it just totally coincidental that I found the guy that has the same number as me? Or is this supposed to be my number? If I was playing on Shield at the same time, I could be able to tell, but that's crazy if so. Just a coincidence. What is this? This is so fascinating. They really tried a lot of new stuff with the gyms in this game, didn't they? How come her feet make a noise on the ground but my shoes don't? Then we battled the 4th gym leader, B. The battle versus B was a good opportunity to use my newly evolved Flapple. I kept forgetting that it wasn't actually flying type and was just grass and dragon. Also, its signature move, Grab Apple, is hilarious to me, and I can't believe they turned Isaac Newton into a Pokemon move. The battle itself was pretty standard. Her Surfetched was actually a lot tougher than I anticipated, and to this day I still also mistake Surfetched for being a flying type as well, since I immediately associate anything that looks slightly bird-like or avian with the flying type, so it's really fascinating to me that they chose to make it a pure fighting type Pokemon overall. And I clearly still didn't understand how the Dynamax mechanic worked because I swapped out my Dynamax Yamask after only one turn of it being Dynamaxed. But we still won, and that's all that really matters. This is actually a very good insult. I'm a fan. The next stop on the journey was maybe a place that I knew a bit too well from the 24-hour live stream that was done back in October before the game's release. Glimwood Tangle. I remember back when I was watching the live stream for this, I expected this to be like the equivalent of the Viridian Forest in this game, so it's pretty interesting to see this location so deep into the game. It's like the fairy tale town from freaking X and Y, but taken to the next level. Next level. These are both correct. Ooh. That thing is cool. I might actually keep that on my team. So right after Q-Fan evolved, I thought, you know what, my Yamask probably should have evolved by now. So I looked up how to evolve it, and I'm so glad that I did because I never would have figured it out on my own. I ended up dipping from the gym challenge early before taking on the leader so I could take a detour and evolve this thing. First, it has to have at least taken 49 HP damage, and then you have to pass under a very specific bridge in the Dusty Bowl area of the wild area. That is such a weird and fascinating evolution method. I would have never figured that out on my own. Oh, that looks so cool! Rune Regus. Now for a little bit of lore behind this thing, because I think this Pokemon has some really cool real-life inspiration. With Rune in its name, it's obviously based off of rune stones from the Viking Age. One in particular that stands out to me is this one with a serpent on it, located in Sweden, with a striking resemblance to Rune Regus' design. The inscription also matches up pretty well with its Shield Pokédex entry, telling a tragic tale, what's known as the tragic tale of Gurlog and Inga. A story full of untimely deaths and a unique case of a mother inheriting her own daughter's property because of it. I just found the inspiration for this Pokemon to be very cool overall, and I'm very happy that it's a member of my team. And now we take on the Fairy-type gym leader, Opal. Despite being only 16 years old, it's as if she has decades of experience of being a gym leader. As far as the battle goes, I was really well prepared for this one, and I didn't really struggle with anything at all here. But as far as the quiz part of it goes, I got every single question wrong. Every single gym leader so far has felt pretty memorable to me, which is a pretty great thing because in some of the past games, especially X and Y, some of the gym leaders were kind of forgettable. It took me a minute to even remember the Fairy-type gym leader's name was Valerie from that game. But I don't think I'm ever going to forget the gym leaders like Opal, even if I kind of swept their teams. And speaking of Opal being unforgettable, this was a great scene. I really haven't seen this much love for the Generation 5 Pokemon since Generation 5. There's so many of them. It's so interesting to me. And I really appreciate it because, I don't know, I feel like a bunch of the Gen 5 Pokemon didn't get much spotlight outside of their original games until now. You know, historically, if Unova is based off of New York, and Galar is based off of the United Kingdom, then maybe the Unova region could be considered part of the 13 Galarian colonies. What if a lot of the Pokemon we know as 5th Gen Pokemon were actually originally from Galar? Just a little bit of food for thought. Probably doesn't actually hold much weight. Anyway, moving on in the story. On Route 8, I had a fateful encounter with what would become my favorite Gen 8 Pokemon. This was my reaction to seeing it for the very first time. What is this? Battling. This is so cool! I really like this thing. If I don't KO it in one hit, this is going on my team. Sorry, Barraskewda. Sorry, Barraskewda. You've been replaced. Sometimes, a piece of video game music can hit you in just the right way. You can see exactly what the composer wanted to convey just by listening to it. The right piece of video game music can make you feel totally immersed in the little window into another world that games can provide. And friends, the Sirchester theme did just that for me. When this game released, it was at just the right time of year, when a cooler day outside was still exciting. When instead of having to wear a jacket out in the weather, you get to wear a jacket that you haven't worn in months without feeling super sweaty or uncomfortable. This music and feeling just struck the right chord for me, so much that I picked up my Switch, walked outside, and just stared off into the moonlight listening to it. When I play a Pokemon game, what I'm doing while I play it is just as important to me as what's going on screen. And I wanted to make sure that I captured that for this particular moment, because as insignificant as me sitting on a bench in-game in a snowy town is to the actual gameplay or story, this little moment is a snapshot of something that I'll always cherish when I think back to playing Pokemon Sword for the very first time. After this little moment of reflection, I did what I think anyone else would naturally decide to do. A Rillaboom break, playing some Donkey Konga 3. Rejuvenated by the Donkey Konga, I faced off against the 6th gym leader, Gordy, who used rock types. I ended up accidentally not recording the gym challenge for this gym, but it was pretty interesting because it looked like a lot of it heavily relied on using your controller's vibrations to find a path, but my controller I was using was a kind of special third-party controller, and I wasn't getting any vibrations whatsoever, so that was kind of crazy. Also, in this gym battle, the game introduced to me a Pokemon that I didn't know the name of. What? I actually don't know what Pokemon he's about to send out. That's exciting. Stonjourner? Oh, that thing! It's Stonehenge! That's so cool! I like this Pokemon. Gigantamax Colossal was probably the coolest looking Gigantamax I had seen so far. It looked so tough and menacing. It also packed quite a punch. With 6 badges now, I thought at this point I'd probably seen all the Gen 8 Pokemon, or at least all of the first ones of the evolutionary lines, and would just see evolutions from here on out. Turns out, I was wrong.
How does this game continue introducing all these new weird Pokemon I've never seen before? 6 badges in. This is crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy. I have no idea what a Pincurchin is, and oh my gosh, I just attacked it and it's electric type and has lightning rod. I'm doomed.
Biking on water is so good, and plus we have overworld encounters on the water too. This will be like the most pleasant surfing hunting has ever been. Also, I think it's really cool that the very first water route in this game is an icy water route. That just adds so much flavor to it. Like, it does not feel generic water route at all. And I have no idea what this Pokemon is. Raplocked? I'm getting extreme Pokemon Coliseum vibes from this town, and I couldn't be happier. This entire town is a gym mission? Is this a Detective Pikachu reference? I ended up making it partway through the 7th Gym's gym challenge, which was actually just walking in a straight line through a town battling Team Yell goons. But my lack of sleep started to get to me, and I decided to call in a night before actually taking on the 7th gym leader. Alright, so end of the day, I'm about to go to bed at a more reasonable time than I did yesterday, and we managed to defeat 3 guys today. Not the 5 guys that we wanted, but we're saved right now in front of the 4th guy, so maybe 3.5 guys, and we're going to take on the last 2 guys tomorrow, and maybe finish off the game. So let's see what happens. Dude, I hope this guy knows that this is going to probably be the coolest gym battle in the game. Day 3 started with my battle with the 7th gym leader, Piers, who is super unique in every possible way. He's the first Dark-type gym leader we've ever gotten in the series. He was the only gym leader absent from the opening ceremony at the beginning of the game. He's your rival Marnie's brother, making him one of the most respected people by Team Yell and basically their leader. He gets his own battle theme, which is a bop. He can apparently sing without speaking a single word according to the cutscene before his battle. He chooses not to Dynamax his Pokemon because Spikemuth isn't a power spot for Pokemon to Dynamax, making it a very traditional gym leader battle. And his team falls very easily at the hands of the Great Phalanx. So one of the coolest takeaways from this battle is that it debunks any sort of thoughts I had about Team Yell being any sort of actual evil team trying to wreak havoc on the region. They're just big fans of Marnie and Piers. Oh, poor Team Yell, they're so sad. And it becomes especially clear that they're pretty much innocent once you immediately get hit with this cutscene after leaving Spikemuth. Suddenly, Pokemon are Dynamaxing for no good reason, but pretty much all of Team Yell was in Spikemuth cheering on their boy, so they're not really involved in the game's main plot point whatsoever. And what kind of shocked me was that the player really isn't involved in this plot point either, at least for now, since the adults are handling it, and you're encouraged just to go on and take on the 8th gym immediately. So that's what I went and did. Something that Raihan said as soon as I got into his gym challenge really struck me. The moment that he said that there were less than 10 gym challengers left. Pretty fascinating, and I'll talk about that more in a minute. Yeah, that's me, Sebastian. What's up, Sebastian? Love that move. That was a nice and simple challenge. Kind of anticlimactic, really. It's the final gym battle. It's double battle. That's so sick. It's been a while since we've had a double battle gym battle. So I'm about to touch on the whole gym challenger thing again, but first I want to talk about how interesting Raihan is. He's not only a dragon-type gym leader, but he's also a weather gym leader and a double battle gym leader. It's cool for him to like have specialties beyond type like that. But anyway, going back to the whole less than 10 gym challengers left thing, I didn't even realize that it was down to a number that small whenever I reached this point in the game. I guess I did see less and less people just randomly wearing jerseys everywhere, but man, those people really dropped like flies or something over this challenge. I do kind of wish they made that a little bit more of a plot point, or integrated that more into what the random NPCs on the routes say that when you battle them. While Bede was completely ejected from the gym challenge, I think it would have been pretty cool if we got a rival who had just failed miserably on the gym challenge and completely gave up. Kind of like a New Age Guzma who gave up on the Island challenge in Alola. But I do guess they kind of did work a little bit of something like that into the story at a later point towards the end of the game, with someone who came in second at something and might be named after a flower. But I digress. I think the fact alone that the number of gym challengers was culled down to a number like this goes to show how special of a trainer the player is, and I think it should provide a pretty good ego boost to anyone playing this game, because it makes you feel special for getting that far. Are we about to see Gigantamax Dorlu? Did he just take a selfie in the middle of that? What the heck, dude? It's a skyscraper! That's crazy! You can, like, live in that thing! I mean, you could live in that thing, but only in the real-life equivalent of 3 Pokemon turns, which would not be very long. It would have to be a very temporary home. And the Pokedex entry just states that it resembles a skyscraper and might not necessarily be one, which is kind of a bummer, because I feel like Gigantamax Duraludon could maybe solve the housing crisis if it weren't for those limitations. We did it! That's the 8th badge. Sick! It's complete. Let's go. Look at that completed coin. That's nice. Professor Sonia. That's literally the option that came up. Is this Animal Crossing? From this point on, the game took pretty much every expectation that I had based off of the formula of previous Pokemon games and turned it all upside down in all sorts of wonky ways. What I thought was going to be a final dungeon or a crazy long victory road type thing was a hill, actually just a hill. And Winden, the city dedicated to the Pokemon League, was actually a city. Unlike some other cities we've had in the past of the Pokemon League, which were just a bunch of pillars. It's so cool to have the Pokemon game end in like a huge city, instead of just like a remote location or just a city that's dedicated to the League. This is probably just a city that's dedicated to the League, but it's massive. It's like the Castelia city of this game. Yo, Dream Balls are in this game? What? I never thought we'd actually have this as an item. I wonder what the effect is. That's interesting, dude. Let's go into the semifinals. This is fascinating. Who I'm about to battle. This is going to be different from fighting an Elite Four. Marnie. The format of the Pokemon League was straight out of the Pokemon anime, in a big stadium setting with a tournament bracket and a waiting area between matches, with a roaring crowd behind every match, which was a stark contrast from going into some ornate hall where it seems that the only two people in the room are you and the member of the Elite Four you go up against. I appreciate how instead of having entirely new people comprise an Elite Four, they did away with that concept entirely, and instead have you battle against the rivals you've made along the way on your journey. I very much welcome all of these changes because some members of the previous Pokemon League Elite Fours never appear anywhere else in the games, making me just wish I could know more about them. Also, instead of making the championship some sort of point of no return where you do multiple battles back to back leading up to the final battle, there's instead lots of downtime between matches, making the championship a multiple day event. While I do think this takes away some of the challenge previous Pokemon Leagues had by allowing you to goof off and heal at Pokemon Centers between matches if you so desire, I think it fits what I'd imagine the pageantry of an actual Pokemon League championship would be like. I wonder if we're going to have 4 battles in this tournament. Oh shoot, we battle Hop already? Second battle? Hop time, dude. I wonder if he's going to Dynamax a Pokemon like his starter, or if he has something Gigantamaxable. Onward into the finals, dude. Leon. Can't believe that thing is saying welcome. I thought I was about to fight the champion, Leon, but there was still a lot more story left, and there was a different mastermind that I had to fight. Macrocosmos is Eric, a master of disguise, a league staff member wearing sunglasses. It's definitely this guy facing backwards. Macrocosmos is Eric, Marty, and Team Yell. Freaking Eric, get back here. Do we battle Eric again? Freaking Eric, dude. Eric. Oh, there you are, Eric. Take that, Eric. The power of music. There's the logo that Beat had on his jacket. Then, Hop and I stormed Rose Tower. Mostly because Hop was hungry and wanted to talk to his brother who was at the top, talking with the chairman. At the top of the tower, there was quite the showdown with Oleana. Okay. Crazy lady. It's the first time I think I've seen her show any sort of emotion. Okay, now she's back to stoic. Oh, this is like the Lusamine battle theme. That violin. I want to say that the similarity to the Lusamine battle theme was very intentional, and her team almost even feels like Lusamine's team for the most part as well. Just like Lusamine, Oleana is extremely competent and holds a very high-ranking position in her company, and she also seems to be extremely dedicated to her goals by any means possible. In this case, her goal being protecting the best interests of the chairman, since it's later revealed that he helped her out back when she was very poor. While Lusamine was manipulative of Lily and Gladion to reach her goals, Oleana was manipulative of Bede, making him collect all the wishing stars. What really differentiates her is the final Pokemon she uses. I can't believe her last Pokemon is a Garbodor of all things. Gigantamax Garbodor? I would have never thought that this would be like her signature Pokemon. Oh, the thing is crazy! The substitute doll and the Pokédoll are in there. That's a great design. The music sync when the thing exploded at the end of the battle was perfect. Listen to it. Okay, they are evil. Just that sentence alone.
All of the necessary wishing stars have been collected.
I expected the events at the top of the tower to be the climax of the game where we meet the legendaries, but instead we just learned Chairman Rose's real intentions. He just wants to solve an energy crisis 1,000 years ahead of time and get credit for it. Then I went back to the stadium for the finals, which I really thought was going to be the battle with Leon, but was instead a bracket with the gym leaders for the chance to fight Leon. I love anything that brings all the gym leaders back together again, because they're interesting characters. All of them are. It's always sad whenever a game has the gym leaders just appear in the original gym that they're from, and just there. But it wasn't just the gym leaders that we battled in the gyms. There was a new gym leader in town, Bede, and he crashed the tournament to try and have a battle with us. And after training with Opal, he was a totally different trainer. In fact, he went from being a Psychic-type trainer to being a Fairy-type trainer. And he used the Gigantamax Hatterene, which I actually couldn't tell was Gigantamax at first, because I hadn't really seen much of that Pokemon before. But yeah, this battle was another example of things not going as I expected, because this was actually outside of the actual tournament bracket we were supposed to be having at the finals here. Then I walked out onto the pitch once more, not knowing who I was about to fight. But this time, it was the actual Champion Cup bracket. My first opponent was a rematch with the Water-type gym leader, Nessa. If there's anything else that I love about getting to see gym leaders again, it's getting to see them go all out with the strongest teams they have instead of using their limited teams that they use versus challengers early on. And in Nessa's case, she actually used Gigantamax Dreadnought, because I was confused when she just used Dynamax Dreadnought earlier in the story. And then we get a glimpse of the bracket, which is scripted and not random, and we fight B next. It's time for the semifinals of the finals. That's what this entire last sequence of the game has felt like. Like there's been continuously I'm feeling like it's the final battle of the game, or we're getting to the finale, and it's not the finale yet. There haven't been that many plot twists in that sense, but the plot twist itself has been that it's not over yet, and that there's more. Did she really just try to use a fighting type move on me? Does this thing only have fighting type moves? What the heck, dude? She's misclicking. The choke is real. And last up was Raihan, and we get to actually fight him in a single battle this time. If you think about it, these battles with Bede, Nessa, B, and Raihan could be seen as an Elite Four preceding the champion. But I didn't even think of it as that while I was playing.
Alright, so presumably, once I walk through the tunnel, I'll be fighting the champion. But, things have kept happening where I kept thinking that was gonna happen, and it wasn't the case. So, I don't know if I'm gonna be fighting the champion or not. But something tells me there's gonna be some sort of interference, because Zacian and Zamazenta have been totally absent. So I think we're about to see him.
Oh. Oh. What a nice man. I think that's like the first time we've actually seen a broken Pokeball in the game before. This thing looks like a virus. I could probably stay home from work tomorrow if I just tell them I got a case of Eternatus. Eternitis. What type is this thing? Okay, I'm guessing it's dragon type of some sort. Can we catch it? I doubt we can, but who knows? I can't throw a Pokeball, okay. Oh, it's a raid! That's cool. That's a sick attack. Finishing blow. luxury ball. Man, they're gonna have to fix the roof of the stadium now. I guess it was already kind of in shambles, though, based on what's going on behind it. So, a few hours of gameplay after thinking I was going into the final battles, whenever I entered the semifinals, I began my final march to the actual final battle versus the champion Leon. It was a roller coaster of unexpected events, ending in us catching the master of the trio of legendaries and not Zacian or Zamazenta, which was really surprising. Oh, the championship cut in. Let's do this, the final battle. This better not get interrupted by something. I mean, it would be cool if it did, because more story, but at the same time, I want to fight Leon. We really do fight him as the champion, don't we? He's number 1. Smitty Werman Jaegerman Jensen. I'm glad the final boss of Sword and Shield has the Pokemon that's literally Sword and Shield. Gigantamax Charizard. Yes, we lived that. That's crucial. Oh no, we won't live the sandstorm though. We will live the sandstorm. Let's go. Just enough to revive one more. A grass type move. I'm guessing this Charizard probably knows like Solar Beam or something in order to be able to use that. And that's it. At 3:15 on November 17th, 2019, we have defeated champion Leon. That's like Terry Bogard. Okay! And just when I started to wonder, where's the Hall of Fame screen right after the credits rolled, the title screen hit me with this, which might be far better than any Hall of Fame screen we've ever gotten. There's the team! I was wondering, where's the Hall of Fame? Oh, but that is awesome! Oh my gosh. I love this! And this has been my Pokemon Sword adventure. I have no idea how this is going to turn out in the end, because I've just been taking random footage as I go. But this has been so much fun to make. And I had a whole lot of fun playing the game. So I hope you enjoyed watching it as well. My sword journey is far from over though. I've got a whole lot more to do. Got some shiny hunting to do. Got plenty of gauntlets planned already. It's been a fantastic time. Hope to see you again sometime on more Pokemon adventures. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.